Hello and welcome on behalf of Gray Line of San Francisco. Wanting to help in a way that expresses our true passion, we produce this free virtual tour to reach out to our thousands of patrons and potential customers. For the next few minutes, escape with us as we explore some of the most iconic areas of San Francisco. Take your time and utilize the 360-degree views we afford you. From all of us at Gray Line of San Francisco, enjoy our beloved city. The Ferry Building is one of the most visited points of interest in San Francisco. As we make our way towards the iconic building, we drive east on Market Street. On the right, passing the famous and always relevant One Market restaurant. Turning south onto Stewart Street, we pass by Justin Herman Plaza. The plaza has a daily flea market and is a thoroughfare for pedestrian traffic. Driving north on the Embarcadero, we can see the majesty of the Ferry Clock Tower. 245 feet tall, with 4 clock dials, each 22 feet in diameter. The Ferry Building, designed in 1892 by American architect Arthur Page Brown in the Beaux Arts style. The Ferry Building's construction was completed in 1898. Its opening was the largest project taken on by the city at that time. The Ferry Building offers boutique stores, restaurants, farmers market on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. In the center of Union Square Plaza, the 97-foot-tall Dewey Monument, Winged Victory, stands commemorating Admiral Dewey's naval victory at the Battle of Manila in 1898 during the Spanish-American War, also commemorating the assassination of President William McKinley. In the 1800s, during the Civil War, Union Square Plaza was a rallying point for the North. Now Union Square rallies shoppers to an 18-block radius of department stores, boutiques, art galleries, beauty salons, theaters, and upscale hotels. On the west end of the plaza, you can see one of the city's grand old hotels, the Westin St. Francis, built in 1904, destroyed in 1906 earthquake and fire, rebuilt in the same lavish style and stands proud today. North on Grant Avenue, on the right, Old St. Marys Cathedral, built in 1854, oldest Catholic cathedral west of the Rockies. Chinatown's roots began in 1849 during California's gold rush. Word spread to China of the mythical Gold Mountain, Gumshan. Chinese immigrants came to San Francisco seeking a new start. Many left the city proper to prospect for gold, while others remained in the city, creating a tight-knit community. Racial and cultural tensions separated Chinatown from the rest of the city. Chinatown became known as the city within a city. The 1906 catastrophe saw immigration records destroyed. Many of the Chinese community aptly claimed citizenship and were able to bring their families from China. San Francisco's Chinatown is the oldest and one of the largest in the U.S. Here at Kearny and Columbus, we see two beautiful buildings. In the foreground, the Sentinel Building, this distinctive copper-green flat-iron-style building, was completed in 1907. Home to American Zoetrope Film Studios since 1972, co-founded by Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas. Towering behind the Sentinel Building is the distinct shape of the Trans-American Building. Construction began in 1969, completed in 1972. 853 feet tall, or 48 stories. Tallest building in San Francisco until the completion of the Salesforce Tower in 2018. Traveling northwest on Columbus, we pass the Condor, the first topless club in the United States in 1964. North Beach has scores of Italian restaurants. On the left, we see the Stinking Rose, known for their love affair with garlic. They say we season our garlic with food. On the right, the National Shrine of St. Francis of Assisi, patron saint of animals and the natural environment. North Beach is steeped in history. The Beat movement in the 50s saw popular poet Jack Kerouac frequent the streets of North Beach. Adler Place was renamed Jack Kerouac Alley. We make our way from Columbus Avenue onto Filbert Street towards Washington Square Park. Surveyed in 1847, developed in 1862, this pleasant park is one of the 3 oldest squares in San Francisco. Looking around the heart of the park, off in the distance we see Coit Tower atop Telegraph Hill. On the north side of Washington Square Park, we see the twin spires of this Romanesque Catholic church, Saints Peter and Paul Cathedral. Completed in 1924, the church is overseen by the Salesian Order of St. John Bosco, the patron saint of. At 295 feet tall, Telegraph Hill is not the tallest, but certainly one of the most recognizable hills in San Francisco. As we enter Pioneer Park, we see the anachronistic statue of Christopher Columbus. Coit Tower, built in 1933, funded by Lillian Hitchcock Coit, San Francisco's first female volunteer firefighter. At 210 feet tall, Coit Tower resembles an enormous Roman column. Vividly colored fresco murals depicting the discontent and hope many felt during the 1934 Great Depression adorn the lobby of Coit Tower. The tower may be entered for free, however, there is a fee to take the elevator to the top. Here at the famous one-block section of Lombard Street, atop Russian Hill, we descend the 8 hairpin turns, or switchbacks, which are the reason some claim Lombard Street to be the crookedest street in the world. These switchbacks that were cut into the side of Russian Hill made it safer for horse-drawn carriages to ascend and descend the very steep hill face. A major tourist attraction, receiving around 2 million visitors a year and up to 17,000 a day during the peak summer months, makes Lombard Street the second most visited point of interest in San Francisco. Descending north, following the Hyde Street cable car tracks towards Fisherman's Wharf, you can look out into the San Francisco Bay and see the famous prison island Alcatraz. Hyde Street ends at Hyde Street Pier. Built in 1922, Hyde Street Pier's 6 historic ships are all fascinating relics of a bygone era. To our right, the cannery was built here after the 1906 earthquake and fire. Many of the bricks used were repurposed from destroyed buildings. The California Fruit Canners Association plant opened in 1909 and was the largest fruit and vegetable canning plant in the world, producing over 200,000 hand-soldered cans per day and employing 2,500 people. In 1937, the cannery, now under the auspice of Del Monte, ceased production. Unused and scheduled for demolition, in 1963, Leonard Martin saved this historic structure and turned it into a marketplace. Here at Anchorage Square, you can see our Gray Line office that services the Fisherman's Wharf area. Pier 39, opened October 4th, 1977, developed by Warren Simmons. This is the second most visited tourist attraction in California, bested only by Southern California's Disneyland. San Francisco's #1 industry is tourism. In 2018, 26 million visitors spent just shy of $10 billion. This is the busiest attraction in San Francisco. Pier 39 offers a theme park feel. Palace of Fine Arts, designed by Bernard Maybeck. Built as one of the 11 great exhibits in the 1950 Panama Pacific International Exposition, this fictional Greek-Roman-inspired ruin was a crowd favorite. Built to be a temporary structure, when it came time to deconstruct the fair and demolish the exhibits, Phoebe Apperson-Hearst stepped in and saved the colonnade and rotunda. The palace stands as one of the fair's few surviving structures and one of only 2 buildings remaining in their original location. The most prominent structure of the complex is a 162-foot-high open rotunda with a lagoon curving around one side. Many forms of wildlife have made their home near the lagoon: swans, ducks, geese, turtles, frogs, and the ever-present raccoon. We are making our way towards Crissy Field and the Golden Gate Bridge. Driving west on Marina Boulevard, the promenade to our right is always active with locals and tourists enjoying the day, whether it be foggy or sunny. On weekends, this area teeming with families and kite enthusiasts. Driving on level ground, the Marina District is built mainly on landfill and saw extensive damage during the 1987 Loma Prieta earthquake. Below and to the right, Crissy Field, an old World War II airstrip now frequented by locals and utilized for large events. In the distance, we can see the iconic Golden Gate Bridge welcoming travelers entering from the Pacific Ocean. On a clear day, the Golden Gate Bridge offers a panoramic view of the bay and the San Francisco skyline. "What nature rent asunder long ago, man has joined today," said Chief Engineer Joseph Strauss at the opening ceremonies in 1937. Construction started January 5, 1933, and was completed April 19, 1937. Total cost of construction rounded out to be $35 million, equivalent to $798 million today. The Golden Gate Bridge runs 1.7 miles in length. Its highest point stands 746 feet above the bay. Irving Morrow, a relatively unknown architect, designed the overall shape of the bridge towers and the Art Deco elements. The famous International Orange was Morrow's personal selection, winning out over the U.S. Navy's suggested black and yellow stripes. Designated a California Historical Landmark June 18, 1987. At the time of its opening, the Golden Gate Bridge was both the longest and tallest suspension bridge in the world. Atop Sutro Heights, at the Land's End Lookout, we can view the vast Pacific Ocean. On the left, in the distance, we see the famous Cliff House restaurant. Looking right, we see the Land's End Park and Trails that will soon be reopened for hikers. The stairs lead down to where Sutro Baths once stood, now only the ruins remain. Here among the ruins of Sutro Bath House, Adolph Sutro, San Franciscan mayor from 1895 to 1897, built his palatial mansion and the Sutro Bath House. Sutro Bath House opened 1896 and survived the 1906 catastrophe, but succumbed to a fire in 1907. Descending Point Lobos Avenue, we pass the historic restaurant Cliff House. This restaurant has been rebuilt 4 times due to fires. The last reconstruction was in 2004, now equipped with fire alarms. Making our way towards Golden Gate Park, we get a great elevated view of Ocean Beach. Entering the west side of Golden Gate Park, we pass one of 2 windmills, designed by San Franciscan Alpheus Bull Jr. Built in 1902 for $25,000, it was utilized as a water pump. Further in the park, we drive by the Bison Paddock, home to authentic bison. Over the last 120 years, more than 500 bison have been born in the Golden Gate Park, helping to keep the species from extinction. Golden Gate Park opened in 1870. It is 1,017 acres and 3 miles long, averaging a half a mile in width. This park is 20% larger than New York Central Park. Architects of the park were William Hammond Hall, John McLaren, Calvert Vaux, all played roles in creating the 3rd most visited park in the United States. Alamo Square. On the right, we pass some painted ladies. Queen Anne Victorians beautify this historic district. San Francisco is teeming with various styles of Victorians. Flat front Italianettes, slanted bay Italianettes, San Francisco stick style, Edwardians, and the most recognizable, the Queen Anne. The Victorian style of architecture was most popular in San Francisco from the 1870s until 1915. On the left and in the center of this beautiful neighborhood, Alamo Square Park. In the Civic Center district of San Francisco are beautiful City Hall, a Beaux Arts style monument to San Francisco. The structure's dome is taller than that of the United States Capitol by 42 feet. The present building, completed July 28, 1916, replaced an earlier City Hall that was destroyed in the 1906 earthquake and fire. The principal architect was Arthur Brown Jr. As we end our tour, we make our way around one of many encampments that need support. If you are able, please click the attached Fund Me account and donate. From all of us at Gray Line of San Francisco, we hope you enjoyed our tour. From our family to yours, we wish you all safety and health, and we hope to see you in the future.